80-year-old psychologist Dr. Arnold Nerenberg has dedicated his life to the pursuit of honor.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Dr. Arnold Nerenberg. I've been a licensed clinical psychologist to practice in the state of California since 1974. And I've walked upon this earth for over 80 years. So it's my pleasure to present to you these insights and inspirations of a lifetime. The intention is to uplift you and your loved ones. I'm grateful. I can honestly say thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I'm going to be giving you information that you find very valuable, but also to inspire you to think of how you feel about what I'm saying, your own ideas. So it's both information, and then there's an exchange of energy when I'm doing this. You pick up my energy, my vibration, and that's going to mix with you. When I meet with all my people every day, all day long, I pick up a part of my people, become a part of me, and I become part of you, part of them. The title of today's presentation is Men Who Love Their Wives. Men who love their wives. That could be men who love their girlfriends, who love their partners, who love their significant others. But I'm using wives in a generic sense in that way. Now, to truly love your wife, you have to put her before your pride. You put your wife before your pride. So what will that allow you to do? For one thing, allow you to say, I'm sorry. Oh, please forgive me. Very important. You have to say, what's more important to you, your wife or your pride? Now, to the extent you love your wife, you're going to put her before your pride. If she's offended, she's hurt, you apologize, you ask forgiveness, you beg her to forgive you, whatever it takes for her to be okay. Now, of course, we're talking about a normal situation. You know, some people, you give them an inch, they take a mile. We're talking about normal situations. There are also many women who you give them an inch and they give you a mile. But you have plenty also, if you give an inch, to take a mile. So we just tempered with a normal situation. We consider it a normal situation that we're talking about. So you want to be able to put, one of the most important things, putting honor before pride and putting your, I'm going to talk about what this involved in that, but also putting your wife before pride. So it allows you to say, I'm sorry. Now, the three most important things in your marriage is, I'm sorry, I love you, and I really appreciate you. That gratitude to your wife is a beautiful thing, to really see all she does and the sacrifices for you. And if you have children, the sacrifice she makes for the children. Even childbirth was huge. Huge, the pain, the ordeal of it, and to bring the child into the world, to bring your child into the world. The gratitude for her. And to see her beauty, both physically and emotionally and spiritually, to see her beauty. One thing that will help you with that is realizing you're both not going to be here forever on this earth. One of you is going to go first. So if you imagine she's gone, you don't want to have to come to her gravesite and tell her all the things that you wish she had said. You don't want to be in that position. You want to do it while she's here. How much you appreciate her, how much you cherish her. Now, for a man who loves his wife, if his wife passes away first, he continues to talk to her in his mind, or he prays for her, and the relationship continues to grow even when she leaves. This is for men who love their wives. Other men, if they're having a bad relationship, it would be some relief in the passing, really. But for men who love their wives, they can continue growing that relationship and carry them with them, and their wives are alive for them. You've probably known people like that. You might be such a person. You've known people who've kept their departed spouse alive, very much alive. Now, it's natural for men to sort of check out women, and you don't want to be doing that. Now, let me tell you the cow study. In a cow study, if you bring a cow in heat to a bull, he'll mount her. No surprise. You bring her back the second day, he won't mount her. But if you bring another cow in heat, he will mount her. So there is a genetic aspect to spread the seed to ensure the survival of their genes. Men have that, to spread the seed. So that's there. But an honorable man will control that. He'll be faithful. So I would say, if you love your wife, a good-looking woman walks by, it doesn't matter whether your wife's or not, I recommend looking away. This I might really want to check her out, close it. Or if she's really coming close by, you inhale through your mouth so you don't have the fragrance of her. These are ways to reduce the possibility of you becoming overly attracted to another woman. Let me tell you, what I tell people, in the street, so it is in the bedroom. In the street is in the bedroom. Because if you see a woman that you're really attracted to, or you're talking to her and you're attracted, if that goes at a certain point in you, you could be having sex with your wife and that woman's image will appear to you. You want to minimize that. Something that's inevitable, but you want to minimize that. You want this to be really just you and your wife making love. Now, probably about 60% of the men I see, going through depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and their libido's low, the sex drive is low. And I ask them, is this a problem in your marriage? And most of the time they say, yeah, it is. I say, well, I recommend you telling your wife that you love her and you're attracted to her, because she can feel undesirable if you're not making love to her at the frequency that you did. Or, worse yet, can think you're cheating and seeing somebody else. Then I also recommend to men, to whatever extent possible, to sexually satisfy your woman, even though you may not always be in the mood, if that's possible. You love your wife, you see the beauty in her, you want to express that to her emotionally, sexually, physically, in every way possible. When I ask every session that I see my patients, what is your purpose in life? A very typical answer for both men and women is to be a good parent, to be a good father, or to be a good mother. That's 99% of the cases. To be a good mother or to be a good father. I want to really raise my children the right way. Once in a while, I'll meet a man who'll say to be a good husband, or to be a good husband and father. Now, here's the bottom line. All people care dearly about your children. All of you care about your children. Most of us, I have 7 myself, we would die without hesitation for our children. But that probability, the need for us to die for our children, is highly unlikely. The best thing you can do for your children is to love their mother. To the extent the marriage is secure, that creates a security for the children and creates a context for them to be happy and secure. If you're having fights all the time, or they're seeing this disruption, once in a while it's okay. Some people say, well, I don't want to argue with my wife in front of my kids. It's okay if they see you argue. That's life. But it's also important for them to see that you made up. That's important. If they don't ever see you argue, they get married, they get in an argument, they say, what is this? You're terrible. My parents never argued. Well, the parents did argue. They just didn't see it. So they didn't know that was normal. So even in the best of marriages, there are going to be times where it's really difficult, where it could be super difficult. That's a normal part of a healthy marriage. Those misunderstandings will happen. Now, I do know of a case where one couple never argued. They were married for 70 years. There was not a single argument. That's rare. But it turns out they were sharing the same hearing aid. So that's the only way it's going to happen, really. Now, of course, one of the things that will help you really appreciate your wife is if you were married before it was a bad marriage and you always were in trials and tribulations with the ex. For many who say, okay, what if you have the right woman now, you say, wow, this is so much better than what was going on. I'm so grateful that that marriage ended. It was really very destructive and toxic. It's wonderful to be with you. Wonderful. To make you even more grateful. Now, they say, happy wife, happy life. Some truth to that, but there's even more truth to unhappy wife, unhappy life. There's even more truth to that. Unhappy wife, unhappy life. So I would say if your wife is unhappy, particularly if she's unhappy with you and you're having marital problems, it's just about impossible to be happy. If you're having a marriage problem, you can deal with it honorably, but you're not going to be a happy camper. It's just not going to be there. So whatever you can do to resolve it, certainly respect and respectfully real communication is key to a strong relationship. Let me give you an example of respectful real communication. If you say to your wife, let's say you were jealous. It's normal to have some amount of jealousy when we love somebody. Some men would just start screaming at, oh, you want to have sex with the rest, why you talk to us, why you laughed at his jokes, you can go on, whatever. That will really, and I'm assuming there's chastity on both sides, that both of you are faithful. But you say, I love you, I feel certain possessiveness towards you, I belong to you, you belong to me. I get jealous, I just need some reassurance, or I appreciate if you don't talk to that guy so much because he's a good-looking guy. And when you laugh at his jokes, I think he gets the idea that you like him too much. This is a normal conversation. Guys, this is a normal conversation. Jealousy, for 99% of us, is there. I'm not talking about crazy jealousy where you want to lock your wife in a closet and nobody can see her. I'm just talking about normal jealousy and possessiveness. That's normal. So if you say, I feel jealous, I feel, with that, so I appreciate if you not do that. And I recommend the wives to go along with that because you don't want to keep taunting that jealousy spot. That's not a good one. So that's a good way, that kind of respectful, real communication about the jealousy is very important. And that goes in all areas of life. Hey, you hurt my feelings, I felt humiliated, I felt inferior, jealous, overwhelmed, whatever, as opposed to lashing out. Now know this, that underneath, you're going to get angry at your woman no matter how much you love her. But under that anger is vulnerability. You feel hurt, neglected, abandoned, jealous, insecure. There's always vulnerability under it. So you don't want to react to your anger, you want to react to your vulnerability. So one of the laws of honor that I teach is, I refuse to react to my negativity, I'll only respond to my vulnerability. I refuse to react to my negativity, I'll only respond to my vulnerability. That's a whole different approach to life. By the way, conversely to that, if your wife's saying some things that are really hard to process or whatever, and she's angry or getting aloof because she felt hurt or disregarded or abandoned or neglected, the other thought is, the other law of honor is, I refuse to react to your negativity, I'll only respond to your vulnerability. Actually, I found out I wasn't able to do that. I wasn't able to only react to the negativity and only respond to vulnerability. So what I found that's doable is this. I'll respond more to your vulnerability than I will to your negativity. Or if you believe in God as I do, God willing, I'll respond more to your vulnerability than to your negativity. So the negative thing's still there, but you see the vulnerability. She felt hurt, she felt neglected, she felt jealous. She said, you're the only one for me, sweetheart. I have no eyes for anybody else but you. I love you, I want you. If you felt neglected, I'm sorry, let me make it up to you. Whatever. Or it won't happen again. You want to respond to your own vulnerability and hers. And those are two laws of honor. Now, as men, we want to have the last word. This is normal. So I know I get the last word, and I'll tell you how that happens. My wife tells me what to do, and I go, yes, ma'am. That's you want to having the last word is understandable. You might want it, but it's overrated. A lot of times it comes down to this: do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? You're getting into disagreement. You know she's wrong, but you have to just ask: do I want to be right or I want to be happy? Being right might be more important in that moment, but generally speaking, rationally, you want to be happy. So however, you need to adjust that so you're true to yourself, and being right becomes secondary to being happy, becomes secondary to your wife's well-being and your own, and the strength of the marriage. Trust is vital. We love our wives, but trust is totally vital in any relationship. What will increase the trust the most? Of course, naturally, that faithfulness. Faithfulness not only in not sleeping with somebody else, or having a sexual act with somebody, but faithfulness in terms of where you're looking. And let's say you're talking to somebody, some chemistry, you're having some thoughts, and then you want to say to yourself, my wife is sufficient unto me, my honor is sufficient unto me. Or if you believe in God, you could add, and God is sufficient unto me. Doesn't mean that feeling will go away right away. It just means you're not feeding it. You're stating to yourself that your wife, your honor, and God is more important to you than this transient feeling. The feeling might be there for 10 minutes. You're talking to that woman, or she leaves, it might linger for a while, might come back once in a while, might not. But you're stating to yourself what your priority is. So that way you're staying faithful to your wife. These things are easy to do. And let me tell you something. If you entertain thoughts about other women, you're not doing anything, you're just entertaining thoughts, your wife will pick up the vibes. She just pick up. She might start getting jealous when there's no need to be jealous. Why? Because she was responding to the vibe, you're having those thoughts. So you don't want to indulge that. You could reduce that to a minimal amount and you won't be losing anything. Most men have a lot of these sexual thoughts about women they've been with, women they could have been with, women they wish they'd been with. Those thoughts are not conducive to a good marriage. You love your wife. You want to, when you start that up, you go into, my wife is sufficient unto me, my honor is sufficient unto me. In other words, those women and those fantasies have nothing to offer you. Not really. And if you're having some thought about a woman, well, that's not going to happen anyway. You're faithful to your wife, so you don't need to even go there. Now, the trust, to the extent you're an honorable man, your wife will sense that and trust you. So I'm defining honor as loyalty to your highest constructive values as enshrined within the 4 commandments of honor while striving to cause no harm physically and emotionally. So the 4 commandments of honor are these. I wish you well. I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality and my problems. I'm grateful for the power I gain from hardship. And then one of 2 depends whether you believe in God or not. If you believe in God as I do, God, your wish is my only wish. Or you can say, I seek always to serve my highest values. Those are 4 commandments of honor. You want to repeat those 3 times a day. By the way, when you say I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality and my problems, that's awesome. One of the things that will destroy your marriage is blaming. You're blaming her for X, Y, and Z, or blaming her for the argument. Let's say she starts an argument and you get into it, well, you're co-creating it. You need to stop right at the beginning so you don't get into it. You can blaming her for starting it. No, you're getting into it. So when you take responsibility for co-creating things, you say, oh, I apologize, I did co-create this. And she may or may not apologize. That's not the point. You want to rise up to do that. You can go, I'm sorry, or you can go even further, I'm sorry, please forgive me. It's even stronger. So you want to commit to doing that 3 times a day. So there's a pledge that I give people to become disciples of honor where they're agreeing to do it 3 times a day. It goes this way. As a disciple of honor, I pledge myself for all the days of my life to the 4 commandments of honor. And I'll teach them to those I love. I'll repeat them every morning, afternoon, and evening, and listen to myself recite them. It's a powerful, powerful pledge for the rest of your life. Now, I recommend strongly to memorize those commandments exactly in those words. It took me many years to work out the exact wording. Memorize them. And you read them, but you want to work on it till you memorize it so you can do it wherever you are, anytime, anywhere. Now, you want to maximize the probability you're going to apply those commandments of honor in any situation you're in. So you do it 3 times a day, but also I have what I call the bridge, which is a bridge between honor, the realms of honor, and reality. So the bridge is this. What's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? So that becomes your gold standard in everything in life. Your thoughts, your words, your action is honor. So you repeat that after you do the commandments of honor. So for me, it would be this. God, your wish is my only wish. I wish you well. I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality and my problems. I'm grateful for the power I gave from hardship. What's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? And then, any situation you're in, that is the gold standard. To truly live this way, you must put honor before everything. And your spouse will know that. People will feel that about you. So then you can become, just doing the commandments of honor and the bridge will take you the distance. But even further, take you even a greater height is to become a devotee of honor. We're reciting the Supremacy of Honor Code at least once a day. The Supremacy of Honor Code is this. Honor before pride, honor before anger, honor before sex, honor before money. Honor before fear, honor before everything, honor before life itself. You want to commit yourself to that, and there's a pledge for that. As a devotee of honor, I pledge myself for all the days of my life to the Supremacy of Honor Code, and I'll bring it to the world for a more just society. The effect is enormous on your life. There are 3 basic truths of life. We're going to suffer in this life a lot. Some of that suffering is going to be due to your marriage, maybe a lot of it. Well, the teachings I've given you, you can deal with that suffering honorably, 100%. You can deal with it honorably, 100%. And number 3, we're going to know much joy and happiness in our lives. But that suffering is built in. Certainly inevitable in terms of death and sickness, but even before that, the misunderstandings and just the stresses and strains of everyday life. So those are 3 basic truths of life. So if you're suffering, or some of your loved ones are suffering, just know that's normal. That's not abnormal. It's not abnormal. But you can deal honorably with it. And when you're dealing honorably with it doesn't mean it's going to go away. It just means you're not going to create more bad karma. You're not going to take your hurt feelings, you're being overwhelmed, your sense of loss. You're not going to take it out on others. You're going to wish the people well. You're going to take responsibility if you can for co-creating it. And you're going to always recognize that you're grateful for the power you gained from hardship, because whatever hardship you're going through, you're going to derive wisdom, compassion, and there is no such thing as wisdom without suffering. Absolutely not. If you haven't suffered, you can't have wisdom. That's the fruit of suffering is wisdom. You have that compassion. Now, one derivative of the what I call the warrior's commandment of honor. The warrior's commandment of honor is this. I'm grateful for the power I gained from hardship. Well, there's 2 derivatives that are going to help you deal with your marriage. Of course, everything in life, but we're talking right now, your relationship with your wife. 2 derivatives. One is, I'll come back much stronger than ever. Or God willing, I'll come back much stronger than ever. So if you're going through some problem with her, you go, well, God willing, I'll come back much stronger than ever. And the other derivative is, what's the best true story I can tell myself about this problem? You're having something going on. It might be over nothing. It might seem to you it's over nothing, but nonetheless, there it is. What's the best true story I can tell myself about this problem? Whatever difficulty you have, whatever loss you have in life, the difficulty is real. The loss is real. But it's only half the story. The other half of the story is there's a gain. And you want to tell that part. The gain doesn't erase the loss, but the loss doesn't negate the gain. So you want to tell the full story. Gaining in wisdom, perhaps you're gaining a better understanding of your wife. Perhaps it's forcing you to take responsibility for co-creating it. Perhaps you're learning more about how to respond to a vulnerability and not our negativity. Those are precious lessons. You could look at these hardships and difficulties as an oppression or a punishment or whatever, but not really. Outwardly, it's fire and vengeance, but inwardly, it's mercy and light. These tests and difficulties are there for us to develop more virtue, for us to develop more honor. And all the great spiritual teachers have told us that. It's there for our perfecting, because without it, we won't progress emotionally or spiritually. Well, I want to just say again how grateful I am to have this opportunity to address you. Very grateful. I'm thankful you're here. And we'll open up and see if our listeners here have anything to say, want to add or say. Jay, anything you have to say about it?
You know, Doctor, I feel that if you live your life with honor, then 95% of a marriage situation would be corrected or run smoothly, because you would honor the sanctuary of marriage. You'd honor your wife's feelings. You would honor your wife. So if you live an honorable life, these things are just going to fall into place.
A lot more will fall into place. It's true. You can lead an honorable life, and still things could blow up in ways you never imagined. But certainly it's going to minimize it. People could still misunderstand what you said. Your spouse could misunderstand what you said or why you said it. You never know. But certainly it's going to help enormously. And as your wife knows your character, she'll have that much more respect and admiration. You're not doing it for respect and admiration. You're doing it because you're putting honor above all else. But it's certainly going to help. And it's certainly going to keep you from creating more bad consequences, more bad karma between you, because you're not going to say hurtful things. Your wife might be upset about something and say some nasty things, but you're not going to retaliate.
And you also have to be able to, when you're wrong, admit it and apologize.
Well, that's the honorable thing to do. You're putting honor before pride. You're putting your wife before pride. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for that input, Jay. Appreciate you always. Anybody else have anything you want to add or say?
Yes, I would, and I completely agree. This whole, I really, really enjoyed this session. That communication, true communication is key. And respect, respect. If it's not going to be communicated, like if, let's say, we just had sort of higher tension than usual, I leave the room and come back and try and be, civil and, hey, hi, would you like to go do something, and get, I don't know, just whatever reaction, no eye contact, just like kind of blowing me off. I mean, I just feel like that is part of respect when communication is trying to happen.
Respect and loyalty, I mean, vital in a relationship, in a marriage, in boyfriend, girlfriend. Absolutely, absolutely. Respect and loyalty. Now, the respect is one ray from the sun of honor. I mean, respect is one dimension of that. And I would say, even when you have to say difficult things, it's good to talk about the things you appreciate, you like about the person, and talk about it in that context. Because if you just talk about what you're not happy about, it looks like you're just dissatisfied with the person. A statement would go, I love you, I appreciate you, all that you do. This thing you're doing this way is kind of hard for me. If you could change it this way, it'd be great. But I just want you to know I'm so grateful for all you do. So otherwise, what could look like a criticism, or a person can feel torn down or not appreciated. So we want to try to avoid that as much as possible. So it's good to give that positive feedback, that gratitude. And if you really work on looking for what to be grateful for, you'll find it. Oh, you'll find a flood of what you can be grateful for. A flood of it, no end of it. And to share that. As soon as you see that you've acted or said something that wasn't honorable, right away you want to, hey, wait a minute. I really apologize. I regret saying that. Please forgive me. I regret it. I apologize. As soon as you see it, A lot of people kind of get caught in a storm and then maybe later, a couple hours later or next day, maybe apologize. But if you can do it right then and there because you're aware, hey, this wasn't honorable. If you stop paying attention, you'll see it. As you get more deep in the way of honor, you know when you're crossing beyond honor, and you'll feel it. Being dishonorable will actually hurt you. Your dishonor will hurt you, be painful to you. It means, oh my God, what did I just say? Hey, I'm so sorry. That's what will happen. When you have that commitment to the way of honor, you will feel pain when you don't follow the commandments of honor or the supremacy of honor code or the bridge. You will feel pain because you're so committed. And that's a good thing. It's good that it hurts you, so right away you're correcting it. The signal will be there, I guarantee it. Tracy, thanks for that input. Well, again, I want to thank you for the opportunity to talk to you, to share this with you. It's my pleasure to present to you men who love their wives.
The sea of destiny is in your deepest struggle. God's will and mine be one, and I wish you well. You are co-creator, respectfully real. There's a way in the valley that turns weakness to steel. We're known through all eternity. From strife we gain power, clothed in grace and love, disciples of honor. All the days of our lives refuse the way of shame. We wish nobody harm, have no one to blame. Your high calling will be done, and pure eyes now glow. In darkness crave the good, like waters from the desert flow. I pledge my love all the days of my life. I pledge my soul to all that is good. I pledge my heart to my brothers and sisters who I join in the light, leave a legacy of honor. We're known through all eternity. From strife we gain power, clothed in grace and love, disciples of honor. All the days of our lives refuse the way of shame. We wish nobody harm, have no one to blame. Your high calling will be done, and pure eyes now glow. In darkness crave the good, like waters from the desert flow.